Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Pink Property Podcast. I'm Lee O'Brien from David Lee, here with my colleague and business partner, David Kirby.
Morning.
It's been lots of conversation this week around fees in the office, and it's something that we really wanted to cover because it is a massive part and consideration sometimes for people when choosing an agent, and we often use a phrase of buy cheap, buy twice in the business, as we've come across it many a time, and we just wanted to really clarify a bit of what we see is the difference between getting it right first time and doing it well, as opposed to not, and some of the sort of pain points around that really. So Dave, talk us through some of the bad examples that we've seen of agents being unprepared or underfunded.
I think a lot of it is preparation. I think a lot of agents rush into the marketing too quickly. They don't make sure everything's in place. They're too keen to get a for sale board up, get the house on Rightmove, and hope for the best. And that is not the best way to do your marketing. So poor photos, no video, bad floor plan, no floor plan, no plan of marketing, no idea, no structure to the marketing. It's all a rush, and it doesn't work. So.
What's the sort of the outcome of rushing in that process? What is the outcome for the client, from the client side of things as a seller?
Well, you don't get the right people through your door. So there's no class about the marketing. They're not taking their time to put your property in front of the right people. You want good buyers, proceedable buyers, the right people for that right house. And if they're just rushing and throwing it onto the internet and hoping for the best, that's not going to work.
Sort of spray and pray, hit and hope, and
absolutely.
And I mean, with the preparation and getting the buyers ready, what happens if then, as an outcome of that, the interest level is low or from the wrong people?
Well, absolutely, you can waste your first run of viewing. So we see, certainly in the market at the moment, that it's very important to get that first weekend of viewings or that first run of viewings to be right. You need proceedable buyers. You need to find the people that really do want your house. And if that doesn't go right, then you waste your time. So you have a week or 2 weeks of viewings with the wrong people. None of them want to buy the house, and then you're back to square one 2 weeks later. No one interested because you haven't seen the right people, and then the owner and the agent tend to be a bit stuck on where to go next.
And it changes then, doesn't it? The dynamic changes from becoming a seller-controlled sort of environment to the buyer being in control.
Exactly. Well, suddenly you've got a house that's been on for 2 weeks and hasn't sold, and hasn't had the interest.
Which in this market is a sign, isn't it? There is a sign.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you don't want to be in that position 2-3 weeks down the line where you really need to start again. So,
and then in a typical format, if they do get lucky enough to get an offer, the offer's not going to be very, very well planned.
Well, no, exactly. You're not in the driving seat then as Mr. Seller or Mr. and Mrs. Seller, because you've only got one offer from someone 3-4 weeks down the track that's saying, well, I've seen your house been on for a month and you haven't sold it yet. I'm going to offer you less. Whereas if the agent's in control and it's the first weekend of viewings and there's more than one offer, then puts our vendor, our client, back in the driving seat.
So in essence, the result of getting this right at the beginning is so important. You get this wrong and you end up following a chain of events that eventually puts the buyer in control, giving them the ability to bid you what they want to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Rather than being driven through competition and the agent really generating that vibe around the house that creates that anticipation of loss and the reason for them to really fight for that.
Absolutely. I think it makes me very nervous that we might not launch a property. We want to make sure these properties are launched right, because if you don't, it does put us in a real tricky spot and we have to fight and argue through it. But getting that launch right needs to be taken very seriously. And I don't think cheap agents take it seriously because they don't have the money or the reward to take it seriously.
So, it is their only outlet. It is their only solution. It is the quickest photos you can get, throw it online, and hope for the best, and actually post and pray. That's what I was looking for. Post and pray that the right person's going to come along. But this could cost you thousands of pounds in the difference between where that offer comes in and where it's finished. You know, if you are not dealing with a great agent with good experience that's got confidence in how they're managing the process and that know that they've got other buyers interested, they're going to be keen to push you into taking that offer that might only be the first offer from a client. And we're talking big sums here, you know. We could be £20,000 the difference between a house that's launched correctly with maximum media exposure and a real plan against something that is, post and pray, chuck it on, and see what happens. And there is a real difference in the market. So we want to sort of guide you with a bit of caution around that, but also talk you through how we do it a little bit differently. And obviously, I think you will now understand as to why we do it a little bit differently. So from the start, really, Dave, the daily launch process starts in the home.
Absolutely. But it starts with some advice in the home. So are we presenting the house right? Is it looking as good as it can? Is it worth spending a couple of weeks getting it in a better state, or are we ready to launch now? So again, take your time. This is a really important thing to do. And spending a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks is a good thing. So first is get it ready for presentation. So we've done a chat with Laura in the office that you can watch on our YouTube channel, which gives you a guide on how to present your property. Get that done. Check it out and make sure we're doing the right thing.
And then presentation. So once the home is right, we move towards the professional photography, videography that we do, and a professional floor plan to make sure that the properties are presented as well as possible.
Absolutely.
And really give an insight into the home. The videos that we're doing, we've done now for a number of months, 9 months or so now, and it is really changing the game in the way in which we're presenting properties, and is becoming a bit of a brand standard as far as we're concerned.
And good photos and good video really show what you are buying. So again, it leads to the right people coming through your front door, so that when we're spending our time with the applicant, they're the right applicant to spend time with. So
and viewings, Dave. How are we
viewing's
planning
really
around
important. Again, have a viewing strategy from the beginning. It's not just just phone me when a viewing comes in. That's not going to work. You can't be prepared for me phoning you and saying, okay, Mrs. Smith, I've got a viewing for you tomorrow at 3 when you're doing a kid run or whatever's going on. So let's get a strategy in place. It might be, 2 weeks time on the Saturday, we're going to do some viewings then, or it might be, Tuesday afternoon's good, Friday mornings are good. Make sure we've got a strategy in place so that we're funneling the best buyers in to your viewing slots, so your house is presented at its best. We can cope with it, we can deal with it, we can do the viewings, we've got time and staff to do that for you. So viewing strategy, very important.
And then around the launch, we can create some buyer anticipation around the launch. So in the build up to actually going live and bringing the property to market, our team will be talking actively with all of the buyers in the market at that moment to tell them about your property, tell them that it's coming to market. We have lots of subscribers in our YouTube channel that monitor that, because that's where the properties go first before they hit the portals. We then market the properties through our social media channels, as well as I said, the major portals in the market. So the launch and the sort of that little bit of pre-launch work is really important.
Very important. We want to drum up the business and the excitement. Another part of viewings is you're only going to get proceedable buyers come and view your house. Make sure your viewing times that are busy are full of good buyers. You don't want to be wasting your time with the wrong people. So make sure your audience is the right audience, and that's what we do. We'll put the right people through your front door. So,
and then the regular sort of reporting. I think that's an important part of the process.
So we produce weekly vendor reports, which will give you an idea of number of viewings, feedback from viewings, the level of interest and hits that it's getting on the websites, on our YouTube channel, gives you your feedback. So really good idea of what's going on, so that on a weekly basis, if it hasn't sold, your property hasn't sold in the first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we've got a plan of attack.
Yep.
So that we can keep that intensity going in your marketing. You need more than plan A.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, back to the cheap agents, they've got plan A. If it doesn't work, they're lost.
Yeah.
They don't know where to go. We have a constant feedback for you. So if something's not working, we can change it. So,
and that future planning is important. You know, you're not on the market for fun. You're looking to achieve an end result, and we're focused around that for you to give you that straight talking, knowledgeable feedback that's going to move you to sold, and that's where you want to be. And then actually the negotiation piece.
Yes,
that's really important. I think. So often that element can get missed in our job, and an offer can get put into the office and can just get passed up to a client by whoever answered the phone in some agencies. And I think it's important that at David Lee, we take real care around our offer process. Every one of our offers is pre-qualified by our financial advisor to ensure that financially they are absolutely ready to buy and make the commitment that they're stating. We check the chain fully to ensure that they are proceedable and they're able to make this offer. And then we talk them through the process, and we talk you through the process to ensure that we're driving the maximum value for you at every opportunity to get you the most money and allow you to make that move onto your next home, wherever that may be. So I think the putting the expert in position at that point is absolutely critical. So look, if you feel that you're currently in that sort of position and your agent hasn't got a plan B, and you have probably some of the stuff that we've talked about just hasn't happened in your transaction so far, reach out. We'd love to be able to help you. We are constantly looking for new properties and doing this on a regular basis of helping people moving to sold. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.